Tech Cocktail Conversations, candid insights from startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders from around the globe.
My name is Mina Johnson-Glenberg. I'm a research scientist at Arizona State University, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I'm the co-founder and chief learning officer of a spin-out company from the university called SmallLab Learning. And we are recent, so spun out in 2011, and we have two products on the market now. One is a very large-scale learning platform that uses motion capture technology, so it's called rigid body tracking. And so what you would do is you would have this in your classroom, and kids could get up out of their desks, moving their bodies around, engaged in embodied learning, going into this space, holding wands that are trackable in a 3D space, 15 by 15 foot space. And then their body becomes like the cursor. So they're moving around all the media, the visuals, the graphics, the sounds. They're getting multimodal feedback on the learning. And that's called SmallLab, Situated Multimedia Arts Learning Lab. Why did I get into this? Well, years ago, I went from one of the best school systems in America down to one of the worst school systems in the Deep South. And I was horrified in 5th grade when suddenly I was put in the back of the class to just read comic books for 6 years. And so I knew there had to be better learning on the horizon, and with the advent of computers, I knew computers were going to help us learn. And so I've been engaged, I'm a cognitive psychologist, and so I've been engaged in learning how to use media and computers to help kids learn for about 15 years now. So if I'm designing something for how a gear moves, I'm not going to make you go like this to push the gear forward, right? That makes no sense. I'm going to make it go like this. So now we're using the Connect to map your hand to this point on the shoulder, and this is the clockwise spinning of the gear, and you're winching things up or you're winching things down. And this way kids can learn about mechanical advantage. Several challenges. One of them is just selling into the education space. Selling to K through 12 in America, a highly decentralized country, is unbelievably difficult. So if you don't have a large channel partner, there's not a lot of, it's kind of one-on-one, like you're just trying to sell to one superintendent or one teacher. It's incredibly hard. And my advice to entrepreneurs, it's a little bit biased because I'm in academia as well as the business world. And so some of the hardships that I've come up against is not being understood by my fellow academics. So there is still a little bit of a bias against commercializing things at the university. So that's been tedious to deal with, you know, to convince people that you're not like a total sellout or you're not doing good science, because this might eventually get into the hands of kids. This is a problem for some, I don't know. Really only hire the top people who come in to interview. Like, don't just settle for a 7 because you really need someone to do your marketing and they're there and they did it 2 years ago for Scholastic. Maybe they'll be good enough. Really, if they're an 8 or a 7, don't hire them. You only want 9s or 10s around you. So be picky. It's better than having to fire them. And I think that you also have to not get caught up in like thinking you're going to lock up all your IP. Like, do not spend money on trying to get patents for your software. It's a waste of money. Everything's workaroundable, so I would not recommend people throw money at that.